T-Rex is having his breakfast. Otherwise, we'd be going out the door right now. That would be something. T-Rex, come here.
Oh, Rex, we just missed it. There were some turkeys right out there. You would have loved it. I'm sure you'll be able to find the odor of the turkeys. So we have no turkeys, but we've got a dog walker. And we're out the door in South Dennis, Massachusetts. The sun's been up for a while, but it doesn't really get into the yard for another while. Oh, there they are right there. T-Rex is on the other side. Rex, this way. You can't plan these things, just happens. So, good morning from South Dennis, Massachusetts. T-Rex, TK, and the turkeys. There was a pulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there were about 10 last week, but we also have coyotes and other things in the neighborhood. Rex doesn't even know it. Rex, you're on the wrong side of the yard. He's like, I smell something. We also have Jonathan Livingston over there on the roof, looking across the pond. That's Fallen's Pond. It's glassy water this morning, and the birds have been singing, and we have the moon. It's the waning, where is it? There it is. Only 225,000 miles away, so you think my camera will be able to focus on it? It's the super blue moon, and I'm unable to focus on it. It's hard to focus on anything when so much is going on all the time. Why don't we start in space and look down at New England from 21,000 miles in the geostationary orbiting satellite? Pardon me. Means it's over the same spot all the time, tracking us around and around and around. And it's clear sky. You can see the fog in the river valleys, and especially in Pennsylvania and New York, but also Vermont. Some leftover clouds from the upper low still over Canada. And it's raining a tiny bit in northern Maine this morning, but that rain is not long for this world. And today is the first mostly dry day in New England since about last Friday or so. We've had a lot of surprises, and I expect more surprises, but hopefully not in the next 72 hours. It's a Friday, and let's keep this going for Saturday and Sunday. It was record cold again last night underneath the center of the high-pressure system, from 51 in Cleveland, Ohio, to 68 in Melbourne, Florida. Now, Melbourne, that 68 could be a monthly August low-temperature record. Otherwise, these are daily low-temperature records. I think this is the fifth day in a row with this air from the North Pole that has settled over the eastern United States. It's about a 1025 high pressure system, and when that happens, the air can be calm at night with a clear sky. Radiational cooling cools you to the dew points, so it's really a dry air mass too, which how many people are saving how many hundreds of dollars in electric bills the last week not having to run the air conditioners. This morning in New England, it's kind of interesting. There go the turkeys. Rex, you see them now? He sees him now. He's like, oh, but I'm tied up. I can't go over there. Sorry, Rex. Nope, you cannot go over there. The temperature map this morning. Now, no, Mount Washington. Go to Mount Washington. It's 40 degrees on Mount Washington. Just a gorgeous morning. And the wind on Mount Washington is 55 miles an hour. It's gusting past 70, and that's only up 6,200 feet. Now, if you go down to the, now back to the other map, down to the surface map, at most elevations are well below 6,000 feet. The crosses mean calm, very light winds this morning, and at the airport, it's called Whitefield Mount Washington Regional Airport, it's calm, even though a mile over their head, the wind is 55 miles an hour. That's high pressure, high barometer cold. It decouples at night, and you wake up to calm weather, and then as the sun goes to work mixing, those westerly winds will mix down. That is we call that the mouth of the river here. We always used to go over there and go crabbing, and can see some birds and some fish work, and this is Bass River, and we do have bass in Bass River. What else do I want to touch on this morning? So many beautiful sunrise shots. Not a lot of weather, so we can just enjoy the beauty. Rick Barber in a Gunquit, Beachmere Inn also in a Gunquit. There were a couple other ones. Joe Kidston in Hull this morning, thank you, and for the win, though, I think the wildlife shot from Mary Jolas in Colebrook, New Hampshire. Moose wandered down to the pond and then started munching on some willows. Mary always shares the weather that's been going on up in northern New Hampshire. And today the sun is coming out for you, Mary. Finally, it's been so damp and dreary and so much in New England. And that's changing for at least a couple days before the new challenges return. So here's the Boston 5-day meteo. Oh, the gull just took off. 5-day Boston meteo shows the temperature today close to 80 degrees. And the wind is out of the west. It'll become 10 to 15 miles an hour, west-southwest. And then nice nights for sleeping. Dew points are going to stay in the 50s for a while as we have this high-pressure system gradually building in our direction. I mean, it's been stuck off to the west and south. And so Saturday and Sunday, we should be in the low 80s, maybe a cooling sea breeze Sunday afternoon. And then there's the complications begin late Sunday into Monday. Looks like a backdoor front on Monday. Could be some showers and thunderstorms. So the forecast in the short range next 2 to 4 days has stayed fairly static. There's the gull, landed on the chimney. And otherwise, there are changes to next week happening already, both to do with backdoor fronts and upper-level lows and what to do with the heat crossing the country. So why don't we get right to that? What is that noise? Is that T-Rex? I don't know what's going on. Always stuff going on. What is it, Rex? What do you see? What is it? I think he sees the turkeys now. Shall I undo Rex and go for them? Or should we just finish the forecast? Let's just finish the forecast, Tim. The Boston 15-day has changed. 3 days ago we showed it. There was not any precipitation across the bottom, and there was a warm wave with temperatures going into the 80s this weekend, which is still there, but the warm wave was supposed to continue into next week, but now it's been dented, and now we have 3 days with precipitation on them, Monday and Tuesday, and what's the next one, Thursday or Friday? Real challenging weather coming up again next week, our final week of August, and going into Labor Day weekend. So let's go to see what's causing these changes. The ECMWF, also known as the Euro model, from pivotalweather.com. Say goodbye to our upper level low and hello to building high pressure and ridging coming to the northeast, at least for today and tomorrow. We've been stopping the map every day on Sunday, and I wasn't going to do it today, but I have to. I have to stop it again on Sunday at 2 p.m., not only for our friends attending the wedding on Long Island, but because there's so many complications starting to show up here. The front is now in northern New England with showers and thunderstorms in the mountains by Sunday afternoon. The 564 thickness is now cut off, and it's further south and west. That's upper level cool pool trying to form again, but a lot warmer than the last cool pool, and there's no sign of a storm anywhere near the Great Lakes. So it's going to be a wavy front that comes over us on Sunday afternoon. High pressure is off to the south. I'll still go with 82, partly to mostly sunny skies on Long Island. Put it forward now on Sunday night and Monday. The backdoor cold front comes in here, upper level low, higher barometer cold builds in southeastern Canada, subtle northeast wind in much of New England meets up with warmer air to the south, showers and thunderstorms. And then that lifts out really quickly on Tuesday, and here's where it gets really complicated. On Wednesday, we have the warmer southwest wind with temperatures perhaps trying to go toward 90 in New York City, but the low going across northern New England redevelops right over Boston on Wednesday morning, and that looks like another backdoor cold front possibility Wednesday into Thursday. And so that front's going to be really tough to call, and there are going to be showers and thunderstorms along that front, and then it tries to lift out again on Thursday to Friday. We'd start to warm back up if this verifies. And then I was talking about a front next Saturday. Stop it again next Saturday. The 570 thickness is here, even 576 just off to our south. That means warm with showers and thunderstorms. And the last few days it had shown a strong storm over the Great Lakes states and a lot of cold there over Lake Superior. Now that's completely moved north by about 500 miles up to James Bay in northern Ontario. So that puts the kibosh on that cool pool over the Great Lakes that the guidance had been indicating the last 2 days. It doesn't mean it's right. It's just the weather changes in waves and the weather forecast changes in waves. And that would be good news, like I was speculating yesterday, that our Labor Day weekend should or could stay warm with that front kind of decaying over us. and the winds stay out of more of the west and southwest than the east and the northeast. It makes a huge difference. Try and get the wind direction right, and you can get the forecast right. So optimistic, cautious optimism that the Labor Day weekend is going to be nice. So that could give us 2 nice weekends in a row, although it's going to be tough to rival this one today and tomorrow and first part of Sunday. Next Saturday, there are going to be showers and thunderstorms, but they should be scattered, and mostly those usually miss Wellfleet. Who else wants to go to Wellfleet next weekend? All right, reporting from South Dennis, and that's the weather segment. How about some and more? Yesterday, another time lapse of a tanker going by with all those instability clouds, and temperature did reach the mid-70s in Boston yesterday with mostly a land breeze. And coming to Cape Cod and running into old friends. Now, I'm talking about friends that of the family that my parents knew before I was born, and what a treasure it is to be able to run into Barbara Kimball and Brad and Leah. Barbara and my mom met in 1954. She told the story last night. They were working at places like, what was it, the Chuck Wagon and other restaurants that don't even exist anymore. My parents met at the Chuck Wagon. I think that's called Jake Rooney's now. And so we were down there by Bass River, recalling old times and treasuring the stories you told, Barbara. Great to see everybody. Charlie Brown showed up for sunset, so we'll leave you with the Bass River, a little bit about Fore River, Bass River, and then at the end with the Captain Spacetime music, the yesterday's time lapse. I want you to note in the time lapse from Weymouth, the moon going over the maple tree in the first few minutes of that time lapse. All right, we'll be back tomorrow morning. See you then.
I have breakfast at lunch because I edit before I eat, and it's always late, and now it's past 1, and look at the sky. Full of instability cumulus, except for near the water. Much fewer instability cumulus because the water is cooler, the air tends to sink over the water, but the sunshine heats up the land, and there's your cumulus, and that tanker. Let's make a time lapse, T-Rex. Just past 1 o'clock. I don't know, about maybe 70 degrees, really nice. The wind is going light. No sea breeze yet. A lot of clouds on the left there. Those are the instability cumulus building over the land. And on the right, almost total blue sky behind that tanker out over the ocean with subsidence. Those are diurnal clouds, and we're going to make a time lapse of the tanker and watch it get bigger and bigger as it comes right at us. George taking the family out in his sport boat, which is about 23 feet compared to about a 600-foot tanker. The birds just took off. I was hoping to get the birds. There's the weather stick pointing up, saying it's nice weather. The weather stick does not acknowledge instability cumulus as bad weather. Come on, birds, come back. Freedom. Now let's just go get a little more time lapse of it headed for the Fore River Bridge. That all happened in less than 12 minutes. There's the birds. A lot of critters around here. Nice afternoon for sailing. Diurnal cumulus clouds getting thicker. I don't see any precipitation yet, but the day is far from over. And then over the ocean, complete subsidence, sinking air. It's been too long since we looked at Julie's garden and her beautiful sunflowers going for the sky. That's got to be 14, 15 feet. Gorgeous. Yeah. And I know she's very generous with the seeds. I had some of the seeds before, but they all seem to get eaten at my house once they come up. I think those ones are getting eaten right now. But plenty of sunflower seeds. Very pretty. And I love the spiral patterns. Tasty too. Not the classic Route 6 cloud, it's just a really pretty cloud over Route 6. Everyone know the Route 6 cloud? All right, keep going. Suddenly, not a cloud in the sky at the Bass River exit. It's only 71 degrees, but sunshine. You know where we are, T-Rex. Entering Dennis. Bass River. Kind of chilly. There's the sun. There's a cloud back there. Get rid of that cloud. All right, well, the dashboard thermometer said 71 degrees. Good enough. Good. Another half hour of sunshine. And we made it to Bass River. Look at these boats. It's the Freedom Boat Club. Slide right off into the ocean. And then you run into some old friends. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
What's going on, tough guy?
Capitol Security.
We'd go out and have a drink after work. 3:20, we're 1-year-old college girls. So I went into this restaurant, the Old Vine Club, and it was quiet and practically empty. And this waitress came over to me, and I said, "How are the tips here?" And she said, "I've made $2 tonight." And I said, "I made $8 tonight. Why don't you come and work with me?" And guess what happened? She did. And she was my best friend.
Mom, my mom,
We became friends for years.
Carolyn S. and Barbara.
$2 in tips, and I made $8 in tips.
And what restaurant were you at? And what restaurant was she at?
We became bonded, and we were bonded forever.
But how come you made 4 times more than her that night?
Because I lived in a restaurant, worked in a restaurant that was fast.
Do you remember the name of it?
The Sandpiper. And now it's Cream and Cone.
Well, maybe.
And where was my mom?
Your mother was in the Old Bond Club, which eventually became your father's mustache, improper Bostonian, and they had fire engines that rode around town and advertised the company. Now, this was after Carolyn and I met each other and left there.
And so what year was that you met my mom?
That was, well, I was 21 and I was born in 1935, so...
1956.
1956.
How was that for math?
Yeah.
This is precious.
Those were the good old days.
Well, it's great to see you here tonight eating a stuffed quahog.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
eating a crab
Leah doesn't want to be on, but Brad and
I have a
Barbara
Tim Kelly story.
and T-Rex don't mind.
We've got all kinds of...
Here with Tim Kelly. And Tim used to work for my brother Billy, hanging sheetrock and blueboard. Wow. And back in the day, when they would take breaks, Tim would go outside the houses that we were sheetrocking and smoke. And he used to look up at the clouds and say, "That's a cumulus nimbus."
There's one right there.
He said, "I'm someday gonna go to weatherman school and I'm gonna be a weatherman." And we're like, "Yeah, right, Tim, yeah, right. You know, get back in and keep moving." Because Billy used to say, "Keep moving.
Keep moving.
Hang more
Keep
rock.
moving.
More rock, less talk." So then Tim one day said, "I quit. I'm going up to Maine. I'm going up to
Vermont.
Bar Harbor, Maine, to go to a college that is a weatherman school up in Bar Harbor." And he did.
Linden
and
State,
next thing
close
you
enough.
know, well, close enough. Next thing you know, he was a New England weatherman, and he became quite the weatherman for years.
Yep. That was
Sometimes on TV he would say, "Well, the weather in South Dennis, where Barbara Kimball lives," he'd do these little shout-outs every once in a while.
most assuredly would. Yep.
His mutual friends. And a big skier, Stowe, Vermont, left Stowe, Vermont.
Yeah, I remember when you guys used to get skis for Christmas when we were like 5. I'm like, who gets skis for Christmas, right? Coming over to your house for Christmas.
I love your mother more than probably anybody else in the world besides my mother.
And Mary Mackey, kind of tie, but...
Yeah. Well, this is gold. Gold, Jerry, gold.
And my dad loved Burt Kelly more than just about anybody, too. They were partners in crime.
Burly Bill Kimball. He would just drive by unannounced, say hello. I just cherish those memories. Weather and more and more and more and more memories of South Dennis. And this is precious because the Kimballs and the Kellys were best friends for pretty much ever. And I did work with the brother Billy, who's left us much too soon. And Libby and Leah and Brad and Burley Bill and Barbara Ann.
Hey, get away from there.
My nickname was Timothy Tulip. She gave it to me.
My
Timothy
name
Tulip.
is Darwin. My name is Darwin.
Nice to see you, Darwin.
All right.
With the quahog and the wine.
Darwin is a direct descendant of Charles Darwin.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, he's related.
So we decided to get married in Fort Lauderdale, the most favorite place ever.
That's where I live in the winter.
And then Hurricane Ann decided to make its little appearance instead of going up north that cut across.
Yeah.
And we were literally panicking. And our wedding vendor said, hey, they'll give you 6 months, get all your money back, act of God. And we had waited so long that I actually phoned him and said, do we cancel it? And he said, absolutely not. Tomorrow on Thursday, everything's going to be beautiful. All your guests are going to fly in and everything's going to be well. And we were locked in the hotel Wednesday. This is Wednesday evening. We were locked in the hotel. Everything went spectacular. It was perfect.
Fantastic.
So thanks
The morning after
Tim
another
Kelly.
wedding.
The morning after the wedding, Ginger Z was reporting the weather live from the beach. It was the biggest waves they had had there,
Yeah.
and since Hurricane Sandy 2002.
We never
I think.
away from you. He's looking with his phone.
Hardly any clouds on Cape Cod, but it's a thick one on the horizon. We got a wink from the sun here at the summer shanty. As the sun goes down, we're just seeing all kinds of new friends, old friends, and the dogs making friends. Everyone's friends. Friends and friends and friends. Yes. If that's someone your own size. Tell them. There. That was just, they love the food.